Hi, y'all. Haven't said that in a long time. I want to quickly go over conversations with you and kind of just like how you can have effective conversations with people about Beachbody and kind of just give you some tips on how to direct them so that you're not wasting your time or theirs. And also, I find that this method really helps prevent no's. I mean, I feel like there's really no getting around it. You're going to get no's. Like, just go ahead and suck it up and accept that and get comfortable hearing no a lot because it happens to all of us and it's never going to stop. And trust me, no doesn't always mean no. A lot of times it just means not right now. So it's fine. Like, don't take it personal, Like, trust me, it's normal. So anyway, I want to quickly, when we were at our Super Saturday, and I don't know if they covered this at every Super Saturday or if it was just the one we went to in Connecticut, but these ladies got up on stage and talked about this training process that they went through in New York, and so they were just going over it with us. And in a way, it kind of reflects what Steph Davies does with her four-step process, where you talk to people about the struggle, you give them the solution, and then there you go. I mean, that's like the modified version, but you understand. So I feel like a lot of times when we talk to people, we tend to want to tell them all about our success and like why we love it and make it about us. And then hopefully that will make them feel like, oh my God, well, if she can do it, so can I. But that's not always how it works. And honestly, a lot of times you're going to find that that doesn't work very well at all. So the best way to talk to people is to ask questions and to make it about them. So one of the first things I like to do is to ask, and it depends on what's going on. You should have done some research on their page and like gone through and looked and saw what's been going on in their life, so that you can kind of have a background already. And then ask leading questions. So, I'll ask, I don't know, let me back up. Let's just say someone reached out to me on a post I put up about joining my next challenge group. I don't just go to them and I'm like, okay, so let's get you in the challenge group. What program do you want to buy? This is the one that worked best for me. I don't do that. I'll stop and I'll be like, okay, so tell me more. I need to know more because I don't want people just jumping into something just because I say they should. That's not how I'm going to get people who get results and who fall in love with it. I want them to be like invested in it because it's something that they want and it means something to them. So I'll ask questions and like I will break it down, and then when they give me their response, I'll go through and I will pick apart each thing they said and I will relate it back to Beachbody in some way. So for example, let's just say this girl responded and she's like, I'm a busy mom, I work, and it's hard to find meals because I'm always in a rush and my kids are picky eaters and I don't really have a lot of time. Immediately, first thought in my head, 21 Day Fix would probably be amazing for this person, right? But what I will do instead of saying, okay, 21 Day Fix sounds perfect for you, I'll say, okay, well, I totally understand. Like my kids, I can't even get my son to eat meat at all or basically any dairy. He'll only eat cheese. And that's pretty much it. And fruit and junk food if I let him. So I totally hear you. I feel like we need to find something that can work, that you can kind of manipulate your menus around what your family will eat. You say you don't have a lot of time. We need to find something that's short. Do you prefer a certain type of workout, or do you want something that's a mixture of all of them? Like let me help you figure out what type of workout, because there are more options than just 21 Day Fix if they want a short workout. So I'll pick through and I will respond to every single point she gave me, and I'll ask questions to go back and make sure, maybe she doesn't like weights. Maybe something like Max 30 would be better for her because she doesn't have any weights and she doesn't want to invest in any. Understandable. So, and then eventually I will get to a point where I feel comfortable being like, okay, well, I feel like 21 Day Fix would be an amazing fit for you because, and then I'll go back again. You said you don't have a lot of time. The meal plan makes it super simple to meal plan for the week, and, it's really easy and simple to figure out. You don't have a lot of time for workouts. Perfect. These are only 30 minutes a day. Whatever. It's a mixture of all different types. And that way they can see more than just like, oh, she's just name dropping a program. She can see how it's going to affect her directly and how it's a good solve for that. And at the same time, I'll throw in about Shakeology. And I'll be like, and I don't know if you've heard about Shakeology or not, but like with you being so busy and your kids being such picky eaters, you should seriously give this a shot because it takes 2 seconds to throw together. It's cheaper than eating out every like morning, and kids can't tell the difference. Like I trick my kid into eating vegetables because he won't touch them and protein by giving him this shake, and he thinks it's just a milkshake. And they actually beg me for it. And then, however else I can go into it. So that's kind of how I do it. And for the sake of not making this video too long, I want to just quickly go into these, I believe it was 6 steps that they talked about. So the first step would be to, and this is like how you're going to direct your conversation. Like, what's the flow going to be? What are you trying to get out of people? Because it's like what I said in that post about the wake-up call I was listening to again the other day. We need to make it about people and how can we connect to them. And the more involved emotionally you get people in this, the more they're going to stick around, the more it's going to mean for them, the more likely they are to say yes and to stick through when they don't want to do it anymore, and be more present in your challenge groups too. So the first thing, you would ask the customer, what are you looking to solve? So same thing, what are you trying to accomplish here? What is your main goal? Second thing, how impactful is the problem? So is it health reasons? Does your being overweight and eating a lot of junk food cause you financial troubles? Does having all these problems cause you to not spend time with your family? Like, let's go a little bit, like, how does this problem that you're trying to solve impact your life? Because you need to point that out to them. Sometimes people don't really sit back to think about it. They're just like, I don't know, I'm overweight. They don't really think about all the areas in their life that it's actually affecting. So that's a great way to connect them to why they need to do this even more. This is helping them figure out their why. The third one, how big of a problem is it? Is it something that's really big, like you're 50 pounds to 100 pounds overweight? Do you have like life-threatening illnesses because of it? Is it something that can be treated? Are you on a ton of medication? Like, how severe is this really? Or is it just that you're not that concerned because it's only 5 extra pounds and you just want to feel better? That's fine too. But it's important information to know. Who does it affect? And tell me how it impacts them. Does it affect the people in your life that you care about? Your spouse, your kids, your work, your friends, your other family? Like, how does it hurt them? Does your being unhealthy teach your kids unhealthy habits? Does it put a strain on you and your spouse's relationship because you're not comfortable in your body? Does it cause financial problems in your marriage? Like, let's talk about how it affects your relationships with other people. At this point, people are so invested in this conversation that they're starting to see that, like, it's detrimental that they make a change. So, and not only that, but it helps you figure out what they're really here for, what means the most to them. Okay, so moving on, the next little thing would be, so what is your vision or dream? Like, what would you want? Like, what would be the ideal outcome? Like, if you could see yourself a year from now, what would you want to see? How will you know when you are successful? So let's set those goals. Are you going to be successful whenever you hit a certain amount of weight? Like, I like to ask my customers that also. Are you trying to lose a certain amount of weight, or are you just trying to tone up a little bit or feel healthier? Let's figure out what your actual goals are. And not only that, and it has a note here too, but not just for weight, but also how much money would you save? How much debt would you get out of? How would your self-esteem and time and confidence be affected? So try to take it into more avenues than just weight. So if you accomplished that goal, what would you gain? How would your life change? What would you have? What would you do? What would you see? And what would you benefit from? So how would this change your life? Would it make you more active with your kids? Would it make you feel more comfortable to go on dates with your spouse? Like, would you feel like you have more self-esteem to go out and make new friends? That was a big one for me. So connect them again, like let them see. So you've taken them through identifying the problem and figuring out their why. Now you're letting them see the possibility and letting them envision that goal and that dream and manifest it. And now the next step is to help them get there. So how much time, money, support, and belief. So, what if I could share something that a lot of people have found success with, the exact challenge you are dealing with? Would that be of interest to you? So now here you are, you're saying, okay, I hear you. Like, I see everything and I know what you want out of life. Like, I want to help you. I've helped others get to this point. Let me help you. Would you let me help you? And then even if they say no, you've planted the seed and you've brought forth all of that information and all of those feelings, and now they're not going to be able to leave it alone. They're going to be looking at their life and saying, God, you know what? Like, maybe it is worth saving the $140 to get this going so that I can feel better and that I could save money later on down the road and have a healthier life and a more fulfilling life and just be like a better person. So, I know you guys, we all struggle with hearing no, and we all struggle with how to really guide conversations and what to actually say, because sometimes you don't know. So I feel like that's a really good way to go. Like, again, and I'll post the notes too in the comments section so you guys can have it. But just bringing forth the issues and putting it all into light, discussing all the different areas of their life and the way that this problem affects them, because it is so much more than just physical appearance. How do they feel? How does it affect their family? What would they benefit from if they made changes? How would it impact their life? You want to take them through the roller coaster of it all so that they're emotionally invested in it, because that's how people stay in it. We've all had those customers who message us and they're like, I want to buy max 30. And you're just like, great, easy sale. And then you never hear from them again. It's because they're not emotionally invested in it. So take the time to create that and write it down too. This is another big thing. I try to keep track of my customers and their whys and things that we've discussed so that when I start to see them slacking, I can go back and be like, hey, do you remember when you told me about this? Do you remember what you said this would mean to you? Do you remember what your goal was? Because I'm here to remind you. That's where my accountability comes in, not just with making sure you get your workout every day, but to make sure that you remember why you're here in the first place. So I hope that helps you guys, and if you have any questions about it, let's chat, because I want you guys to feel comfortable and confident in your conversations. So that's all I've got, and I'll talk to you guys later.